what are the decision influencers from a technology standpoint? Obviously, we talked about price is one of the core components. I've kept deliberately the price at the last of this discussion because here we have participants who are technologists. So let's talk a little bit more on the technology side, and then we'll come to the costing and rest of the stuff. The most important feature or the function that one looks at is the processor and the memory. The next one is the display, connectivity, battery life, form factor, usability, and the connected ecosystem, cost, service, and support. When we want to build these mobile internet devices or tablets, you have many options. At EFT, when we started off at Freescale. But very quickly, in fact, our first prototype was built on Freescale. Once we have the prototype, we got introduced to NVIDIA, then TI, and so on and so forth. But as a team, we were always focusing on one critical function. That is, which is the device that consumes, or which is the chipset that is better optimized for power management and graphics rendering. That was the driving factor for us to be, to choose the chipset that are available. If you look at the market, you have various chipsets available for you. From earlier 2 years ago, we had ARM8, ARM9, ARM11. Now we have Cortex A8, A9, A15. Then you have single core, dual core, quad core processors. Again, these from SoC point of view, you have multiple choices, such as NVIDIA, TI, Marvell, Freescale, Qualcomm. Then next level you have MTK, that is MediaTek. You have Rockchip, Allwinner, Amlogic. And the third tier, you have VIA, WonderMagic, Renaissance, and Informatic processors. And today you get processors from 1 gig to 1.6 gigahertz, dual core or quad core. And you can include memory ranging from 512 MB to 1 GB for RAM. So depending on the market segment that one has to get in, we could choose the kind of processor, because that comes at a price point, and the volume. So this is a volume game. So we have to use the right processor for the right market segment.
Giri, I have a question here. Okay. You mentioned about the technology choices, and you have a wide variety of hardware, processor, and memory. Do you think for the tablet market to take off, we have reached an inflection point where you can choose the right combinations of the processor, memory, and other components from different vendors, and give a good product to the customers at the price point at which they are looking for?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we do. That's the key function, the USP of EAFT. What we do is, let's say, for example, if you're targeting the enterprise market or a consumer market in Europe or in America or higher economic zones, then obviously you have to look at products like NVIDIA, TI, Qualcomm, or Freescale. The reason is these are the established brands. They have a market presence, and they are the market leaders when it comes to the chip technology. Take an example of NVIDIA. NVIDIA, they are pioneers in gaming technology. 4 years back, they decided to move into mobile technology. In fact, Tegra 2 was the first true internet processor which was used by almost all the tier 1 manufacturers. And I will talk about what we did with Tegra 2 also later part of the presentation. So Tegra 2, in fact, if you look at the numbers of Tegra 2, it was the only hardware that was available at that point which has less than 1 watt of power consumption when we were driving HDMI. It consumes less than 8 watts of power on the normal scale. So that was one of the deciding, but it came at the cost of like $35 to $40 each SoC for us. Okay. So, and you cannot position, let's say today if you want to position a product at let's say 6,000 rupees, you can't put an NVIDIA Tegra processor on it. So if this has to go into, let's say, for your aerospace or high-end entertainment, where you can position these devices above 15,000, between 15 to 25,000 Indian rupees. So if you want to use NVIDIA, that's your product range, price range. Again, if you come down, then you have other choices like the Rock chip or the Alviner. In fact, Srini, later we'll talk about the performance between the Rock chip versus the rest of the processors. So you can choose the right kind of processors for the right segment. For education, you may not need NVIDIA. For example, Alviner or a Rock chip or a MTK is good enough. If you're purely talking about very, very cheap entertainment device for kids and things like that, then you can look at Wonder Magic or Renaissance processors. These processors you can get it for about like $4 or $5. Again, talking about speeds, you can choose a single core 1 gigahertz versus single core 1.2 or a dual core 1.6 gigahertz. Depending on the market segment, you can choose a 512 MB or a 1 GB. So you can mix and match different processors for different price points and then bring it to the market. Did I answer your question, Srini?
Yeah, Giri. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please go on.
Okay. So moving on to the next slide, display and touch. Yeah, when the touch technology was introduced to Indian customers way back 3 or 4 years ago, we were talking about resistive touch, single touch, resistive touch, that kind of stuff. Soon we got introduced to two-touch resistive. Fundamentally, you get two choices: resistive technology and capacitive touch technology. Today, we could almost forget resistive touch because people have experienced capacitive touch. Once they've used capacitive touch, they'll never come back to resistive touch panels. So that is one point. In terms of combination of the touch panels and the display technologies, you have glass plus glass, glass plus plastic. Now the latest one is called glass plus film. When you talk about glass plus film, the price point really shrinks, but you compromise on the ruggedness, or the roughness, the endurance of the touch panels. The best will be glass plus glass, which everybody in the market currently using, the premium products. Glass plus plastic technology is used in the mid-range or the low-range segment. When you talk about display, you get now, which is like 800 by 480 or 800 by 600, 1024 by 600 or 1024, 760, different resolution screens are available for your display technologies. Again, you choose for the right segment, for the right display for the right product, segment. Again, you have IPS glasses, you have retina glasses. The best, as we all know, is retina, but the IPS, if you look at the price point per se, the IPS version of the display cost 20 to 22% more than your normal glass. If you talk about retina, again, it's about 25 to 30% more than the IPS version. But from a power consumption point of view, retina requires a lot of power. And if you take the configuration of iPad 3, which uses retina display, they have packed iPad 3 with 11,000 milliampere hour battery. It's huge. if you want to drive a 9.7-inch device with retina display for 8 to 10 hours, you need that kind of power. But if you put the same, non-IPS or a normal glass, put 11,000 milliamp hour battery, probably you can run it for 16 or 17 hours. And that's a steep difference that one will get to see. So again, we could choose, different display technologies, touch technologies, depending on which market. Is it education market or a field force automation, or it is consumer entertainment or something else. Yeah. And on the handheld device side, we talk about 5-point touch, 10-point. But when you move to from a non-handheld, from handheld to non-handheld segment, then you get maybe 50 touch technologies. Actually, you could use 5 people can simultaneously use a touch screen. Again, one could ask, why do I require a 5-point touch, or why do I require a 10-point touch? These are required for gaming experience. If you want to use both your hands on the tablet, then you would require 5-point or a 10-point touch technology. If you're talking about pin zoom in the healthcare and the hospital function, you want to zoom in, zoom out, you want to rotate, all that, you might want to use your 5 fingers to do that. So depending on where this tablet is going, you could choose the touch, either a 5-point touch or a 10-point touch. On a 7-inch phone or a 7-inch device, nobody wants a 10-inch touch. If you put your 10 fingers on the screen, you're covering the whole screen. You don't want to do that. On a 9.7 or a 10-inch screen, you can use two simultaneously and do what you want with it. Any questions at this stage, Srini?
Gary, I think there are a few just questions from the audience on the process. Probably we'll take the specific questions towards the end of the presentation. Yeah.
Okay.
Please continue with that.
Okay. Next important thing is connectivity.